Okay, so again, if you missed one, you're fixing it in pen. If you didn't do it, you're doing it in pen as we go over it. On the first one, what are we looking for? Stella, what are we looking for? Why is it pretty obvious? Because it says what percent. So that's our missing piece. Percent of whole is part. That phrase can really help you. I'm going to set all of these up using a proportion because all of them were pretty straightforward if you set them up as a proportion. What is my proportion format? Like what over what equals what over what? Naomi?
12 over 6.
Give me the words.
Part over whole equals percent over 100.
Yes, part over whole equals percent over 100. So this one would be 12 over 600 equals box over 100. Now, I've said this before, but again, until you do it wrong, you don't notice really what I'm saying. You always start on the side that is completed. Jude, what up here would you consider the completed side?
The left.
The left side. So on this one, we will start here, and that means we have to go this way. So that means I will go this direction. How do we get from 600 to 100? Jude? Divide it by 6. So there, divide by 6 is 2. Now, here's what I see a lot. I'm going to get rid of all that. I'm not saying you can't go the other way. You just have to think more. A lot of people want to do that, which is fine, but then they mess up here. They say 72 is my answer. How do they get 72, Reese? Because they take 12 times 6. But this is saying a number times 6 equals 12. What number times 6 equals 12? 2. So it's not that that way doesn't work. It just makes our math easier if we go from the completed side to the other side. So divide by 6 equals 2 is the easiest way to get there. Not that the other way doesn't work. It just requires us to not think as much. And I've had you guys long enough to know, like, the less thinking, the better. Agree or disagree? Okay. Next one, we're still looking for percent because it says what percent? Percent of whole is part. So my 4 over 50, part over whole equals percent over 100. Nate, which side should get my focus right now? Nope. Which side should I always start on? Livy? The side that's completely filled out. Which would be which side? The left side. Max, how do I get from 50 to 100? Times 2. So what is 4 times 2? What? 8. So this would be 8, and that one should be percent. This one is also percent. Next one, what number is 35% of 20? Percent of whole is part. So we are looking for the part. P over 20 equals 35 over 100. This is another one where I had a lot of people give me a much higher answer than we should have because they did the opposite of what they should have done. Carter, what do I do? Okay, so I'm focusing on the whole side, which is the right. So how do I get from 100 to 20? Divide by 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. A lot of people get, not a lot, if people miss this when they took 35 times 5. Well, I don't know what that is off the top of my head. But because they saw 20 times 5 is 100, but that means what number times 5 is 35, the answer would still be 7. Next one, 15% of 20 is what number? Percent of whole is part. So P over 20 equals 15 over 100. Jude, what do we do?
Divide by 4.
Divide what by 4?
No, divide by 5. Divide 100.
Okay. 100 divided by 5 equals 20. So Jude, what is 15 divided by 5? 3. So P equals 3. Next one, 13 is 26% of what number? Percent of whole is part. So my part is 13. My whole I do not know. Percent over 100. Bryce, what do I do? We can do that. Then is my answer 200? Yeah, so start from the completed side. To get from there to there, it's divide by 2. Divide by 2, so W equals 50. And again, you could have thought 13 times 2 is 26, but then you have to think what number times 2 is 100, but I know you guys think 100 times 2 is 200 instead of it backwards. 10 is 40% of what number? Percent of whole is part. Part over whole equals percent over 100. What do I do, Naomi?
40 divided by 4. 10.
Okay, 40 divided by 4 equals 10. And again, if you didn't have these done, because you didn't have them all done, do them as we work. So Naomi, what's 100 divided by 4? 25. So W equals 25. Okay, questions on those 6? Okay, and some of you used equations, which is fine. But again, in 6th grade, 90% of them, proportions are the easiest way to get there. There are a few that the percent equation where you have to multiply or divide by a fraction or a decimal. About 10% of the time you may have to do that. Most of the time you can get there on a proportion or equivalent ratio. Okay, on 7, 8, and 9, I'm going to give you the answers. If you missed it, I want you to rework it. If you didn't do it, I want you to rework it, or I want you to work it out. And then if you, let me find my answers. If you can't get to the right answer, I can come help. So number 7 is 18. I think that's percent. Number 1 is 700, and that is the whole. And the whole is 66. So if you missed one of those 3 or didn't do one of them, you're doing it now. If you missed one or you didn't do it, you're doing it now. So if you get stuck, I have them set up and kind of simplified the last one. I'm going to do the same thing with the back, so I'm just going to write the answers for 10 through 15 up here. So 3, 3, 6, so there's the answers to 10 through 15. I want you to do the same thing. If you haven't worked them yet, I want you to try and work them. If you had already done them and missed them, I want you to rework them. Then we will do the bottom 3 together. Shoot, I can't can't pause the video. Sophia, are you flipping to the back? So you're trying those 5 that you don't have done yet. Get rid of them and then I'll put them right back up. Okay, so today we're focusing on just word problems, but you have to be good at those other kind before you can solve word problems. Anytime you're solving a percent problem, what do you have to identify?
Part whole percent.
Part whole percent. In word problems, you have to think about it a little more, but you can still think percent of whole is part. Those words are still there most of the time. So on number 16, Mallory has $5 in her wallet. If this is 10% of her monthly allowance, what is her monthly allowance? What is the easiest piece to pick out? Nate?
That's $5.
Part, whole, or percent? What's easiest to pick out in a problem? One of those. Which one? Why is the percent the easiest to pick out? Livy? It has a percent sign, or if you're looking for it, it says what percent. So I'm going to underline that and put a percent by it. Percent of whole. Percent of whole. What is the whole in this problem? Sadie? Her monthly allowance. Now, it will either tell us her monthly allowance somewhere in the problem, or it will ask us for her monthly allowance. But the percent of whole still works here. That can kind of help you on the harder ones. This one says, what is her monthly allowance? So what are we looking for? We're always looking for an answer, but the answer represents, we're looking for the whole because we are looking for her monthly allowance. Here's another, you can pay attention to the words. It says she has $5 in her wallet. This is 10%. So 5 is 10%. So it's still that same wording. I'm going to rewrite this as, I want you to write this, 5 is 10% of blank. 5 is 10% of blank. Because it says $5 in her wallet is 10% of her monthly allowance, which we do not know. Okay, so if you can pick out your part, your whole, your percent, it's the exact same thing. How can I set this up using a proportion? Jalen? Sorry, this was my part. Part over whole equals percent over 100. What's my part? Five is my part. What's my whole, Stella? W. We don't know it. Chase, what's my percent? 10. What's it always over? 100. Which side should my eyes focus on, Bryce? The left or the right?
The right.
Why?
Because it's got the everything we need.
That one's completed. So how do I get from 10 to 5?
Divide by 2.
Divide it by 2. What is 100 divided by 2?
50.
50. So W equals 50 is not good enough on this problem. Why not? Dane?
It's $50.
Yeah, at least have a label. Tonight's homework, you have to have a label. So $50. Her allowance is $50. Okay, next one. Of the 200 guests invited to a wedding, 154 attended the wedding. What percent of the invited guests attended the wedding? What is missing? Bryce? The percent. So we are looking for the percent. Now we have two numbers. Which one's the part, which one's the whole, and why? Ethan?
The whole is 200.
Why?
It says of the 200 guests.
So 200 total people were invited. Did they all show up? No, only 154 came to the wedding. So this is my part. This one is my whole. So part over whole equals, we don't know my percent, over 100. Sophie, where should my eyes go? To the left or to the right?
To the left.
Why?
Because everything's filled in.
Because everything's filled in. How do we get from 200 to 100?
Times 2.
Think about
20.
to go from 200 to 100. So we're getting smaller.
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. So when we take 154 divided by 2, we get 77. What would my label be on this one? Not just percent. 77% attended the wedding. And it's usually 77% attended the wedding. So on these ones, it could also give me that exact same problem. The words would be exactly the same. The question could say, what percentage of the invited guests did not attend the wedding? You could figure this out and then do the rest of it to get to 133%. How else could we have solved it? Jack? Well, we already, okay, how could we find the percent that didn't go? Besides finding the percent that did go and subtracting from 100. So I'm looking for how many out of the 200?
46 over 200.
Why? Where'd you get 46?
Because it's plus 154.
Yes, so if 154 did go, do you have any other options besides do go and do not go? No, those are the only options. So if 154 did go, that means 46 did not go. So if you're looking for the percentage that did not go, we could have found it from here. 100% minus 77 is 33%. Or we could have done 200 minus 154 to say 46 out of 200 did not go, and then found the percent from there. Okay, that's about as hard as these problems get. Next one. The memory card on Melcher's digital camera can hold about 400 pictures. Melcher used 24% of the memory card while taking pictures at a family reunion. How many pictures did he take at the family reunion? So I'm going to point this out again. Percent of whole. This one makes us think a little bit more. So our whole is the memory card. What about the memory card do you think is the whole? Reese?
Like how much space he took off the memory?
Is the whole?
No, like the whole entire.
Yeah, the whole entire memory card. How many pictures does the memory card hold, Dane? 400. So this 400 is my whole, which means I'm looking for the part. I'm looking for the part of the memory card that is used. I need the back row to bring it in a little bit, okay? So part over whole, 24 over 400 equals, we don't know, oh, we do know, percent. I have that backwards. I labeled it with a P, it's a percent. P over 400 equals 24 over 100. Nate, how do we solve this? Copy these down.
Divide by 4.
Divide what by 4? No. Because you will do that and then you'll give me an answer of 6, which is incorrect. Which side do we look at? Not the big one.
400.
Bryce, which side do we look at?
The side that's filled in?
The side that is completely filled in. Nate, which side is completely filled in? The right side. So that means we're starting here and going the other direction. So how do we get from 100 to 400? Times 4. So then on top, times 4. So 96 photos. Okay, for the rest of these that we're going to do together, I'm not going to make you write them down, but I highly encourage you to pay attention because you have a review sheet tonight and some of them are hard. Okay, I'm going to go over the other types that you may see. It didn't log me out. It did. Okay, for these ones, when we do them together, we're just picking out the part, the whole, the percent. Tonight on your worksheet, you have to solve them also, but we just had a whole sheet of solving them. Right now, we're picking out the part, the whole, and the percent. And jump a couple levels. Okay, so this is just the second one. At a company meeting, there were 70 people in attendance. 20% of them were managers. How many managers were in the meeting? So percent of whole is part. On your worksheet today, it'll say P equals blank, W equals blank, and then percent equals blank, and then it gives you workspace underneath, because before you can solve these, you have to pick out the important pieces. 20% is the easy one. Percent of whole. What is them referring to? Dane? Is it referring to the managers? At a company meeting, there were 70 people in attendance. 20% of them. Harper? It's referring to the people in attendance, okay? Are all of the people managers? No, so that's another way you can think about it. The total number of people is 70. Managers are just a part of those people. But that means we are looking for the part that are managers. So we are looking for P in that one. We could set it up as a proportion and solve it pretty easily. Okay, that's not the ones I wanted though. Okay, Rob bought cupcakes for his sister's birthday party. 1% of the 100 cupcakes had sprinkles on top. How many cupcakes had sprinkles? Let's change this to how many cupcakes did not have sprinkles, because you will see some like that. And again, these numbers are pretty easy, but part, whole, percent. So 1% of the 100, which that's telling us 100 is the what? The whole. The whole is 100. If 1% had sprinkles, what percent did not have sprinkles? 99%. And then if we're looking for how many did not have sprinkles, we are looking for the part that did not have sprinkles. Still not the ones I want. Maybe it's level 4. Okay. Okay, this is one that you'll have on your homework. A company took a survey about its new product. 24 people liked the new product and 376 people did not. What percentage of the people surveyed liked the new product? We're obviously looking for a what? A percent. Okay, so this is the one we're looking for. So we have to figure out our part and our whole. What percentage of people surveyed liked the new product? So our part is the number of people that like the new product. Haley, what is our part? If I'm looking for the percentage of people who liked the new product, so I need the number of people. 24 people liked the new product. So that's our part. Our whole is not 376. I'm going to read it again. A company took a survey about its new product. 24 people liked the new product. 376 people did not.
Would you add that together?
Why do we have to add it together, Stella?
Because there's the total people that tried.
Yes, because that's giving me two different parts. It's telling me the part that did, the part that did not. Could we find percentages of both of those?
Yes.
Yes, but we need the whole, which is 400, because 376 plus 24 is 400. Okay, from there you set it up exactly the same. So on these, there's the easy ones, which it's fairly simple to pick out the part, the whole, the percent. Some of them are like this, where it gives us two different parts and we have to add them together to find the whole. Some of them, it gives us the part for like likes and asks about dislikes. So you have to just do a little more either subtraction in the beginning or subtraction in the end to figure out the piece that you're looking for. Okay? Again, you have a worksheet. I'll pass it out. You have the rest of the time to get started on it.